right. Good morning, traders. Can you hear me okay? Let's start with that. This fine Monday. Yes, Bob says. It is a crisp 46 degrees here in Eagle Mountain, Utah. But it looks to be a beautiful day. All right, let's get the screen on. Hot cup of coffee in hand, Miguel, of course, as always. Yes. All right. How's everyone feeling? Miguel's got coffee. Scott has coffee. We're going to give it a couple of minutes to let everyone trickle in and get their audio functioning appropriately. Still waking up, Bob said. Steven has it all set. He said, coffee ready to do some trading. Good morning, Lee. Good to see you. Yeah. Yeah, it finally feels like real fall now, right? It finally feels like real fall. The futures are up. Loving it. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's hit it. Let me get the recording started. And officially, good morning. Everybody, welcome out to the Market Watch Group opening bell. Miguel's ready for some profits. I would like to also be in that club. So, my name is Scott. I will be your host. Let's get our housekeeping matters out of the way. Disclaimers. This is for education and illustrative purposes only. No advice, no guidance. We are not brokers, nor are we advisors. That's the gist of it. 61. Okay, that's not bad. Being on an island helps. Yeah, being at 5,000 feet helps cool things off. So that's why it's nice and cool here. I think we probably hit the 30s overnight. What will we do today? Opening futures and news. Futures are up. We just said that. We'll look at the economic calendar. What's next? We got the Fed. The Fed is on board. It always feels good to ride with Jer Bear. And of course, so I was telling my wife last night about the hallowed and revered Austin Goolsbee. And the second I told her his name, she said, Goolsbee. And I'm like, right? That's the only way to say it. There's only one way to say it. And she asked me how I spelled it. And I said, oh, it's Bee. And she's like, oh, that's an amazing name. So anyways, she's joined the club. She doesn't even really care about trading. But Goolsbee for Fed, she's on board. Oh, Sandy's here. Good morning, Sandy. So, what do the futures tell us? What does the news have in store? What does the economic calendar have in store? What is our posture? Everything that sets the tone for this week. Mindset for open trades. I mean, if there's any new trades, you either carried something or you might have taken something new. Either way, if the futures are up, you're probably happy with that. You don't hear us talking about a lot of bearish things right now. right? Miguel, right? It's good to have her. It's good to have her on board with the whole. I told her, America. Everyone's talking about elections. It's not about the election. It's about the Fed. Prosperity in our country has nothing to do with the president and everything to do with the Fed. Therefore, I believe that we will have the highest level of economic prosperity under the reign of Austin Goolsbee. Somehow the Fed should turn into king. I don't know. There's a big thing happening here. All right, let's get to it. What do the futures tell us? Here's what they tell us. They tell us that the markets are opening slightly higher, right? Up 0.18 on the S&P. But am I strongly, if we're talking about trading posture now, right? Our market posture, let's start with market posture. Let's just pull that up real fast. Market posture, for those who maybe missed it, improved by 0.5 point. Well, mine did. There was a good number of people in the same. We said that it seemed the range is between 5.25 and 6, with the mean probably around 5.6. So our posture has improved into the 5s, to the highest point in this post-correction recovery. One of the questions that we asked was, do we think that it's going to have a second dip like it did last year, where it got a little dicey, recovered, then got worse, then it recovered? Or is it just going to be a recovery? So that's one of the things that we've been studying and asking. We've been talking about why have we leaned more towards not a double dip? We leaned towards one and done. We got the deep V that we said was bullish. Our posture last time improved for 2 weeks, stalled, dropped, then recovered. This time you can see it's been consistently strong for 6 weeks. Maybe even longer. So, yeah, we dropped down to a 2. Then we 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks. 6 weeks. And the Fed. Surprise bullish cut. Backed with language that says we're not nervous. We're doing this because we're making sure that we're not going to be behind, and we feel confident enough with the numbers to support it. In fact, what they said, if you read it, was the previous meeting was closer than anyone realized for a surprise cut of 25. And based on the 6 weeks in between those two, they said, yeah, not only do we have the ability, but to really knock it. So listen, you hear me say it all the time. Don't fight the Fed. Fed's on board. Posture's bullish. I'm looking for trades. I believe a lot of other people are as well. But do I think this is day 3, almost day 4? If you look at the shadow of this day, it got really close to that area. That's 4 days, let's call it, where we tested this level up around 50, right under 5,800. And we're bumping our head. Okay, you can see that my stochastics is overbought. And not just overbought, but has apparently crossed below. It's just kind of meandering, but it looks very similar to, I don't know, this. And if we go back to that, you'll notice it was grinding along there. They pulled back a little, ticked a little, and then pulled back. So, as much as we want to trade bullishly, are we just like, let's just start slapping bullish trades on? No. Our market posture is bullish. Our trading posture, that's what we're talking about when we first kick into gear here, right? Sunday is market posture. Monday morning, nothing's occurred. That's always the thing, right? Nothing's occurred between then and now, other than the futures are just going a little bit. But what we're doing is we're transitioning from our market posture to our trading posture. Now the market posture just is sort of a guide. It just says, hey, when you got what you like, look to pull the trigger. If you don't like it, you might be a little more patient because things are working right now. So be bullish. That's it. That's what it's helping us with. Our trading posture right now says, hey, we just had this move. That's a great move. Looks very close to the one we just had the time before it. Yes? And those two that we have are as big or bigger than a lot of these other ones. That one's pretty good. That one's pretty good, but neither of those are as good. Agreed? So there's those pink lines are showing. So we have to be aware of this and like, yeah, look, are there opportunities that could still be happening? Yes. But am I looking for a big bullish window to open right now at the end of this? I'm not. Of course, I would love it, but I think to myself, whether it's a consolidation like this one, I don't think it would. Remember that this was coming out of the V. So after coming out of the V, we were like, ooh, what's going to look like? I don't think we would have another deep consolidation. I would actually think maybe we have a smaller consolidation. Maybe something that comes back down. That's very likely here. So am I just going to start slapping on as many bullish trades as I can find? No. Give me your thoughts on this one, guys. This is where I want to make sure that we're aligned. Everyone feels good. If I see bull, I want to take bull. And we saw signals in our watch list. But from a market perspective, let's make this transition from our market posture where we said, hey, things look great, to our trading posture where we say, it looks great, but let's be mindful that we just hit a new high. We seem to be hitting some resistance, meaning a consolidation, not a correction. Not looking for like, oh, we might get a 10%. No. A consolidation where we might have, I don't know, 2 to 4% in this little pullback here. So mindful. That's it. Just read the chart. Well, and Sandy said not anticipate, although as we move into a 5.5, Sandy, I don't know about you, but I'm definitely getting closer to where I'm willing to take some anticipatory trades where I'm like, hey, this thing's going to go. Let's try to, if I can get a little better reward to risk for jumping early and I have a posture that supports that, I am. You'll notice that I haven't talked about anticipatory for quite some time since our posture derailed way back, right? And so, yeah, back in July, really, when you think about it, I haven't, it's been 3 months, right? Is that right? It's 2 months, 2 months and change. Anyway. Okay. Opening bell. We will switch quickly now to the SPY. Let's see if my charts hold up. Oh, pretty good. Pretty good. Those charts hold up just fine. That's just moving E-mini to SPY. Okay, so let's just kind of take a look. Let me go back to the posture. For anyone who missed it, what happened? Long term stayed the same. Still in that area. One thing that I flagged was this number could drop to a 1.25 without any kind of break, just because. Let me tell you why I'm thinking that. Well, you can see it. We had that green line drawn, and we lived in that green line for a while, but you'll notice we all of a sudden really are having a hard time getting anywhere near the upper echelon there. So we may just end up redrawing it simply because it organically has not advanced to levels that would support that current channel. So we'll see. It's nothing bad. It's just simply we're waiting to see if we get something there. Short term, we broke to new highs, so I gave it 1/4 point. So that improved. Volume stayed favorable. We kept it at 0.25, but we didn't get any advancements. We had a lively discussion about our volume counts. If you've ever been uncertain about volume, that's a good one to watch, because I think we knocked out some details in that one. Major market stayed the same. Sector rotation stayed the same. Where did we get our improvements? A little better on the short term. A little better on the VIX. That's not uncommon. Where do we end up? 5.5. Yeah, I definitely feel good about that. Okay. Futures are up. 0.26 on the S&P, 0.35 on the NASDAQ, 0.51 on the Russell. Oil was up 1/3. Gold was up 1/4. So everything was pretty good. We look at any news. I don't think there's anything here. Key inflation, GDP, right? We've been talking about that. Whole food. Key takeaways from the Fed's momentous. Let's look at the economic calendar. So what do we have going on today? Our guy, the Chi-Town something. Got to think of a nickname for him. Bostic is speaking. No one cares. Kashkari is speaking. No one cares. Goolsby. When Goolsby speaks, everybody listens. Tomorrow, Bowman. Windy City Guru. I like it, Lee. That's a good one. That's a good one. A strong contender. Love it. Okay, so what do we have? Tomorrow we have some confidence. Anything above 100, there's no concern. Doesn't matter if it drops a little bit. No one's going to be like, consumer confidence falls from 103 to 102.5, and they're like, consumer confidence is dropping. Nah. Anything above 100, nobody cares. New home sales. This will be interesting. To see what happens with home sales. My daughter's in college, and we're paying ridiculous amounts of money for rent. It's like a private dorm. It's not even it's an apartment, but it's not. It's like a private dorm. So it looks just like a dorm. So you don't really get much space. It's like $1,000 a month. Anyways, so I'm gonna buy like a duplex or a condo and then rent it. But I'm like, there's no way I can do it with rates at 7%. I want them at 4.5. So we're all gonna keep our fingers crossed that mortgage rates get to 4.5 by, let's say, June. Let's call it June. If we can all send some good vibrations that way, that would be fantastic. Okay, what else do we have going on? Thursday GDP. And, of course, Jer Bear. A lot of Fed speak, but no one cares right now. They didn't tip their hand. They're like, here, look at our cards. And you're like, oh, okay, thanks. Thank you. But we will be paying attention to Friday. We have income, spending, and we have, of course, the Fed's favored PCE. Yeah. Well, I should get 2 years of full rentals at the very least. And my wife has family in the area, so people can help if I need someone to go take a look at something anyway. The plan is this: I'm only renting to girls because I know what college boys do. So is that a biased policy? 100%, purely biased, 100%. No boys. Anyway, it's gonna work out great. I'll put a bunch of cameras up. Anyway, GDP, CPI will affect the market. That's a good question, Press. Right? Here's what I would say. If GDP starts to sag, they've already demonstrated they're in front of it. I think that's not problematic at all. What I think would be problematic is if there was if you remember when we were back in the summer when we're like, oh, they're gonna cut rates, it's gonna be great. No one remembers this now. You guys remember when UBS came out and they're like, it's gonna be cut 2.75% in 2024. We've got 2 meetings left and we just got a surprise half a point. So they're way off. But so I think that GDP is not problematic. I think CPI, PPI, or even here, let's say we're looking at the PCE and year over year was at 2.5, expected to hit 2.2, and all of a sudden it hit 2.6. Like it unexpectedly jumped to 2.6 or 2.7. That is where there would be problematic, right? So, no, I think that's a valid concern. We'll see what happens. As long as we can get down into that 2.5, which is where we are. At least on the PCE, the CPI and PPI is more high 2s, low 3s. They're not quite there yet. But no, they're definitely looking for these to continue sliding down a little bit more, even though, right? Remember that the policy that was just enacted is 6 to 18 months before we're starting to see the impacts. So, okay. Great discussion, as always. And here we are again, 45 days, a little over 6 weeks, 6.5 weeks out to our next meeting. In 45 days, what do we have? This is 0.25. This is 0.5. The one problem is I'm planning a trip with my family to celebrate my son graduating college in December to go to UK. And the dollar, it's going to be worse. I don't know. I mean, I know that's a little selfish, but I'm just saying. I'm still here. This is where I am. I say, we got a surprise from Jer Bear, which was almost a miracle, but I'm not going to look for a second miracle. Yeah, the market still thinks there's a pretty good chance, and they were right the last time. And they were right. Now, it won't affect anything in the election because it's November 7th. So this is Wednesday. As we're looking at the results, we will have our next Fed announcement coming out where I would expect, I think we'll get another 25 and another 25, and that gets us 1%. Although I need to find a chart. I'll find it for tomorrow. When you look at the tendency, our expectation 11/7 is Wednesday. 11/7 is when I think it is. It should be. So the Fed always starts their meeting on a Tuesday and then announces on a Wednesday. Oh, wait a second. No, you're right. Oh, because of the election, they're going to start their meeting on Wednesday. And okay, David, I think I can. Yep, you're right. It looks like because of election day, they're not going to start on Tuesday. They're going to start on Wednesday, release on Thursday. So that's an abnormality for them. But okay. I agree, Steven. I agree. 0.25 makes sense. Let's go look at December just to see. And then, so double the people think that either November or December is getting a half. They're thinking one more is going to get a half. So I find that interesting. Okay. What else? Let's get to the market and look at our stocks. How are things shaping up? First and foremost, let's just peek at our opening range. Another half. For the year, I think, for the two, I think a half, but the market thinks it's another 0.75. So it thinks one of them is going to be a half. I think they think, no. I think that 50% was acknowledging 75 basis points. So that would be either we get a half in November or a half in December. But the preponderance of opinion is that we will have 75 more by the end of the year. Opening range. We opened, sold off a little bit. Now we're stabilizing. So here we are. What happened? We already hit, like we said, there's some resistance there, and we may not have what we need to get through it right now. So okay, that's fine. Right? Let's go look at our list. That's 100% what should happen, press. Let the data-driven decisions. Those are the only way to make decisions. If it's not data, it's bias or emotion or political pressure in that instance, right? Data-driven decisions. Although it's hard because with them, right, they know that their actions are 6 to 18 months before they're truly seeing the impact. So you're on a blind corner when you're the Fed. It's tough sometimes. I'll tell you this. What they need is the strong hand of a leader like Austin Goolsbee. Okay. I keep stalling because I can't seem to find my watch list. There it is. Okay, what's happening? A little bit of consolidation. We ran up. We're hitting up at these levels. We're bumping our heads, and now we have minor pullbacks. I can live with that. Right? So if we hit our head here, we pull back, and then we go, and we get a little pattern of higher lows bouncing off 50s. Fabulous. Absolutely. So Apple, interested. Aflac. Okay. Right? You see it? We're pinching on the stochastics. The candle's starting to turn. And things like this, we could be patient. We could wait. It's early. That's anticipatory. You don't have a turn yet. That's what I mean when I say anticipatory. You have the beginnings. You have the first white candle. You don't have a turn. Could you consider this? Yes. Anticipatory. Doesn't have full confirmation, but it's got a good amount. Amazon just looks a little bit overextended still, chopping around. I'd love to trade it again. AXP looks overextended. We can't get in late to this thing, right? Bank of America looks to be on a little mini cup and handle. Yeah, I would trade that. I mean, it's just barely crossing, so we're not like, hey, let's hurry and slap a trade on Bank of America. Well, we can be patient. It's coming. BK overextended. There's just nothing in those, right? Hopefully, you still have a piece of a couple of things that are looking like that. BLDR starting to flag, I think. I think that's representative of what we're seeing out of the industrial area. Carrier just kind of grinding around up top. Caterpillar starting to pull back as well. So I would say flags are in season. I'm definitely looking for flags in what we have going on right now. CL. A little bit more reluctant. Yes, I recognize that last time I expressed reluctance about defenses, they made a run. So I'm going to keep them, and I'm going to stay open-minded. But we'll see. CMG, that's flagging, and that's looking close, right? CMG looks like it could pop that flag. I know Sandy's looking at that flag. I know Scott's looking at that flag. Yes? Yeah, if that comes, we got to be ready for the flag, but I'm keeping an eye on it. That's plenty of things here. Okay, Costco. What day is today? So I could trade this all week. This is not until the 26th. Is that Friday after market? Is that Thursday? Okay. You can get 3 days of trading on this if you decided you wanted it. A pre-earnings bump. This looks like it could give you something. So implied volatility is high. Is that concerning? No, because I expect it to stay high until earnings. I'd only be worried about high implied volatility if I thought it would drop, which it will do after earnings, but not before. You can kind of see that phenomenon back here. Even if it's high, it's likely to go higher and then drop. Okay. I don't know why I cannot. There we go. Diamonds, flat, fast and all. Kind of in that same flaggish type pattern that we see in industrials. So right now, what do I have? I think financials look overextended, but I have a couple that are interesting. I have industrials that look like they're starting to give a consolidation. Maybe some consumer, whether it's staples or discretionary. Bitcoin, nothing there. Gold is looking great. General Motors. Cup. Handle. 50-day. Yeah, I think there's viable opportunity in here. This is coming down. We need this to at least slow, but yeah, I think that there's trades to chat about. Google. If you're in it, you're still just sort of trying to ride a little bit. If you're not in it, you're not like, oh, it's breaking the 50, let's get in. It's literally within like a couple of points of this being a V, which is great. We like the strength that the buyers showed. We were a little concerned at these new lows, 6-month lows. We're not just willing to jump in at 6-month lows like, oh, that's dumpster diving. But now that the buyers have regained control, comes back down, we're ready. Goldman, maybe on a pullback. Home Depot is already. So we said some consumer might already be pulling back. What am I looking for? I don't know, maybe a retracement to here. So 2-3 days of retracement possibly, and then ready to go again. Could it be much longer? Sure. Could be more than a week of retracement. I'm just saying that I've got to be ready for the short retracement. If it doesn't come, then I just naturally progress to a longer retracement. But if I'm not ready for the flag, then I could miss the opportunity. ICE. It's holding up. It still looks like it could be viable. It wanted to try to go, then it got shook a little, and now it still wants to try to go. Small caps just pausing a little bit. JP Morgan pausing. KKR overextended. Coke is, iffy. We'll see if it's going to get itself moving. MasterCard on a consolidation. McDonald's. We said McDonald's actually was viable on Friday. Here you can see it's still getting more today. Meta. Good night. Look at that sucker go. MMM still moving a little bit. Morgan Stanley pausing. Microsoft on a bit of a pullback. Microsoft is in a leading position. This breakout was fantastic for us. I love that breakout. Doesn't matter that it jiggled a little right here. Right now, if this thing pulls back near this and then turns, oh yes. That's the trade we're looking for right there. You gave one, paused, and gave another one. We would love that. Looking for that bullish fall now, right? Santa rally, all of it. And DAQ still grinding higher. Let it try to do its thing. Nvidia, nope. Netflix just kind of moving about. Nvidia, I think Nvidia is viable. Yeah, this was the consolidation. Broke out of it, got to here. Now it's in the pullback. If it doesn't, if this is all it does and turns again, great. I think it's going to make a run back towards old high. And then we could have a great cup and handle, potentially. PGR. You can see like a lot of the financials, a little overextended. PLTR. Yeah, we'll see if it pulls back. I don't know. There's strength there. The Q's just kind of sitting at resistance. Here's RKT, mortgages. McDonald's high can actually look strong, don't they? I can imagine. RTX, just waiting a little bit. SPY. So we're hanging on to bullish, but not much, right? Certainly looks like we're still struggling at resistance. A little bit of momentum in Tesla. Up, kind of sideways on TSM. UNP. That was the dog. That was the dog, you dirty dog. USB. Flagging a little bit. The dollar staying lower. The VIX staying down around this 16 level. We'll see if it's going to break lower. So funny, man. Our VIX is so skewed and will be for months to come because of this little interaction here. Walmart looks viable. That looks tradable there, right? We pulled back, stabilized, starting to turn. If anything looks like a solid setup, that might be an alert. This could be it. Of course, I want to see throughout the day what it looks like, but yeah. Okay. Thoughts. Let's run through the XLs real quick, then we'll talk about our trading plan. Anything I missed? So we have opportunities, right? Whoops. Materials, a little bit of flagging. McDonald's and Walmart so far. And you can see there, those are a little bit more in that defensive space to some extent, Press, right? Right behind that, we have industrials trying to set up some flags. Communication services hitting some resistance. Energy, not much there. Financials hitting some resistance. Little bit of maybe a mini cup and handle. Industrials, I love industrials. Just new highs, pulling back. Technology, still trying to figure it out. Staples, looks like it could be putting some bullish setups. Utilities just kind of pushing higher. Healthcare, a little sideways. Discretionary, a little higher. Yeah, discretionary is definitely back in the mix. Yeah, that's how I see it. What else are we doing this week? We'll be talking about it tomorrow. Tonight, if you can make it, we have our happy hour. Come hang out and have a chat. It veers towards trading, but it's always nice to just kind of get to know the people that you're working with in the group. So we'd love to have you come out for that. Tomorrow, we will have a full hour and a half together talking about our record keeping and our analytics, talking about some searching, talking about some trade setups, building some trades, all the good stuff. All the good stuff. Lastly, we're also doing we're doing our record keeping and analytics. Record keeping is the trade log tab. Analytics is the dashboard tab. Right? So if we want all these beautiful analytics done for us automatically, all of this is done for me. All I got to do is just come in here. Look how easy it is. This is one trade. You know, what was it? Entry, share, stop, right? There's not much. Get the record keeping, get the data. Like Press said, decisions should be data-based. Data-based. Okay. Wow. I thought I was slow today, but here we are. We made a good conversation, talked about the posture. Talked about the watch list, got some good things setting up, some viability here. If we see some pullback, we'll have new opportunities. If we start to see some things move, we'll have trade opportunities. Looking for a good week, looking for a good fall. I'm excited for the next few months. All right, it's good to see everybody. Did I miss anything? Any comments, any questions, any symbols that I missed? Let me know. We had a good crew today. Love it. Well, it's good to see everybody. 8:30 p.m. tonight for the happy hour. Other than that, 8 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow night for Trading Foundation's working session. Have a great rest of your day. As always, happy trading.